Happy New Year! It is the brand new start of a new year, and usually this time of year everyone is pumped about the new goal and energetic. So I hope this is not going to be a short-lived motivation, but instead I hope everyone can keep it up. I will start off the year with less boring data for you, but in short summary, like in my past videos, this year is definitely an interesting year since many analysts predict that we could see a rate cut sometime this year. But I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but instead I would love to share some stories about my past clients and their experiences when closing their properties, either on the purchasing side or selling them. So let's get into it right after this. Hey, it's me, Antonio, your local real estate agent in the GTA. New year, new start. If you have any inquiries or are looking for someone that can help you navigate the current real estate market in Toronto, don't hesitate to book a call with me using the first link in the description below. If you are not already, like the video and subscribe to the channel for all content in GTA real estate. The first story that I would like to share comes from a past client who was selling their condo apartment. According to the usual procedures, the real estate agent will make a walkthrough of the condo unit, take measurements, go through all the features, amenities, parking, lockers, if any, and so on. Honestly speaking, there is much information that could be missed, but it is the agent's duty to collect all of it and properly list it on the MLS platform. But more often than not, when the listing agent asks the sellers about the maintenance costs on the condo unit, some sellers might be too busy in their daily lives, especially if the unit was an investment and they didn't pay much attention to it but had a rough idea. They might have told the listing agent that, for example, it is about $600 a month, since that was what she remembered seeing on the statement for a long time. So then the property was sold with the standard procedures until a problem arose. The buyer had a tight mortgage approval, and the maintenance fee had a big impact on his decision. After the quick update, the buyers found out that the maintenance was just recently increased to $670 a month when the buyer's lawyer went through the status certificate. That quickly turned out to be an unpleasant situation for both the buyer and seller over the dispute over this maintenance cost. The big lesson for me and for those who are watching and might have been in this situation is to make sure, although the sellers told you several times what the maintenance fee is, you try to get the actual bill where it shows the time and date to confirm the actual amount, because that could end up in an unpleasant dispute and also in a last minute price reduction and unnecessary emotional swing. At least that is a lesson I took from this, and I hope that could help you when you face the same situation as a buyer or seller. And now moving on to another past client and a scenario that could also learn from my own mistake, but I'm open to sharing my experience so that you won't make the same mistake. This is a scenario where most transactions were executed, especially in a multiple offer situation. More often than not, when a buyer is trying to improve and win out from the competition, price is the major factor, but then comes the rest, such as the conditions, closing dates, etc. To be honest, in the multiple offers, there are many components that are very tricky. Sometimes when the realtors open up and tell all participating agents to improve the offers, it could also imply that the offer is as clean as it could be, and that could lead to no conditions such as crossing out the home inspection. I'm sure you will hear many forums or other realtors that will tell you that this never should be ignored. But if you have been on the market, you know how the game is played. Most of the time, you will end up having a few buyers visits that allow the buyers to walk through the property and spot the problems and for mortgage appraisals and so on. However, if the buyers chose to improve the offers by not having the home inspection, this buyer visit would be even more important. My recommendation would be to make a checklist of items and plan ahead before the visit. The list could consist of checking the furnace, the air conditioning, the light fixture, electricals, appliances, furnitures, etc. As a realtor, it is our duty to tell the clients the risk of not having these conditions, but ultimately it is the buyer's decision. In my case, due to the prior experience of my client who had problem with the dryer they had in the past when they purchased their old home, the dryer was not working properly and they were really disappointed. This time around, we requested to test the washer and the dryer, and the seller offered to wash a load at the scheduled time of the buyer's visit, so we could try the load note while visiting. I guess that was the best thing you could do while visiting the property. Obviously, we went through much more, but I can't express the importance of these visits. Ultimately, I find a rare situation, and that is why I wanted to share it in this video so that you won't commit the same mistake I did. Well, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you like the content of the video, and also leave a comment down below to let me know if you like this type of video so that I can make more of the actual client's experiences in the future. What happened was that on the closing date, the minute the buyers entered the home, they found a cat lying around. Quickly, my client knew that it was the same cat that they saw while we visited the home before, and they were certain it was the seller's cat. Of course, I called the listing agent and they were indeed embarrassed, so the seller decided to come back the same night to pick up their cat. You would probably wonder who would leave their cat and not notice until I called. Anyway, let's ignore this, but the worst part happened when they came. That is also a reason they were saying that buyers and sellers should not meet on the closing date. The property is a semi-detached home that has 2 floors, with one washroom on the main floor and the other on the second floor. On the way out, after the seller picked up the cat, he mentioned to my client while 4 other family members were there and told my client that she would not be using the washroom on the second floor other than taking a shower because the toilet water pressure is pretty weak. While that is not saying that it's not completely not working, that could also annoy the buyer for not being able to use the washroom upstairs for doing all business and are kind of inconveniently having to go downstairs instead. But I'm not sure about you, but I would probably consider this is a big deal. To be frank, technically all realtors should be staying away when the transaction is closed, and most likely it will be handled between the sellers, buyers, and lawyers if they wish to dispute it. Alternatively, either the buyer's agent or the seller's agent could also help out by helping their client resolve this before getting into legal matters that involve lawyers that could easily cost hundreds of dollars for each letter they produce. I ultimately opted to help my client and take care of it by hiring my recommended plumber so that it won't be escalated and not having my client to worry about the expense. Here is also a good time to share why sometimes as a consumer you don't really want to work with discounted real estate agents. What do you think they would do if the realtor was already working on a discount? They are most likely going to walk away and let you handle it on your own. The sacrifice of the service is pretty apparent when this matter arises. Working with a full-time realtor and caring about their reputation will be the reason you want to hire them, because they simply want to protect their reputation, and that's the reason they tend to not work as a discount realtor to begin with. As a side note, there are also cases when you absolutely need to get involved with the lawyers. I could also share some past clients where my business partner that could also help you understand in case you are in a similar situation. Let's say you sold the house during the winter and closed it in January. The house inspection could only check the heating from the furnace, but it is impossible to test the air conditioning in the winter. Fast forward to the summer of July and they discovered that the AC was not working. Although it was a process, they managed through the lawyers to have the previous seller to reimburse for the AC. Granted, the buyer's agent included a condition where all the fixtures, shadows, and HVAC work properly up to the closing date, but they will still be able to get compensation even past the closing date. There are many situations and a great thin line in real estate transactions, so the more you learn about what happened in the industry, that could help you in case this happened to you in your buying or selling of the property. I hope you learned a thing or two from this video, and if you have any unusual situations that you would like to discuss, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to hear, or to my best knowledge, answer them. Alright, here I wish you a prosperous year to come, and I'll see you in the next video.